For centuries, the region of Catalonia has desired to become independent from Spain. To this day, the issue of Catalonian independence remains a fiercely debated issue in Spanish politics. As we mentioned in our video about 10 countries that may not survive the next 20 years, Catalonians even created a human chain around their country to show their clear desire for independence. With Spain's economy in shambles, it's no wonder calls for Catalonian independence have grown stronger over the years. Current polls in Catalonia are nearly unanimous in predicting that about 50 to 60% of Catalonian voters would approve independence during any referendum. And within the last 15 years, support for Catalonian independence has gone from 30% support to 55% support in some polls. This change shows that the independence movement in Catalonia is rapidly gaining momentum. The Spanish government continues to insist that all Catalonian independence referendums are illegal. As to whether an independent Catalonia could survive, Spain itself is more reliant on Catalonia than Catalonia is reliant on Spain. This is because the Spanish government takes more from Catalonia than it gives, spending only 57 cents in the region for every dollar of taxes collected there. On top of this, Catalonia accounts for a quarter of Spain's total net exports. Until these issues are definitively solved, it is very possible that the next 20 years could see the creation of a free Catalonian state. The island nation of New Caledonia is scheduled to hold a referendum on the issue of its independence from France by the year 2018. And for the most part, France seems unwilling to actively oppose this move, as they even agreed to the 1998 Noumea Accords, which gave New Caledonia greater autonomy. As the referendum date approaches, the citizens of New Caledonia have already taken symbolic moves to show their desire for independence from France. New Caledonia has already designed its own flag, as well as created a New Caledonian national anthem. However, despite the clear popular support for the creation of an independent New Caledonia, the island is also unfortunately a victim of what political scientists call the resource curse. France has expressed uncertainty about allowing New Caledonia to become truly independent, because the island contains over 25% of the world's known nickel reserves. So far, though, France has not taken any definitive action, and it is likely that once the referendum takes place, New Caledonia will join the ranks of the world's youngest nations. In the future, the likelihood of a united Korean peninsula is becoming more and more likely. Although there are harsh political and economic contrasts between North and South Korea, both countries still hail from the same culture. The reality is that Korea is a peninsula with one people and two governments. Not unlike East and West Germany, the Korean peninsula remains bitterly divided by a demilitarized zone between North and South Korea. In all likelihood, North Korea will not survive another 20 years, and at that point, both countries will need to fall back on their contingency plans for a united Korean peninsula. A unified Korea certainly would be a force to be reckoned with. This is because a unified Korea would be able to call upon both the former North Korean army, which is currently the fourth largest army in the entire world, as well as the strong South Korean economy, which is home to some of the world's most advanced industries. While this dramatic political change doesn't seem imminent, the future may just soon bring us a unified Korea. While the highly publicized 2014 Scottish independence referendum failed, many in the Scottish National Party are still set on calling for another referendum that may very well succeed in the coming years. Scotland has a very strong independence movement, and the Scottish National Party remains popular in Scotland. The only real barrier is the timing on another referendum on Scotland's independence, which some have suggested might happen as soon as 2017. Either way, it's clear that the Scottish won't give up on their quest for independence so easily. The issue of Quebec's independence is an issue that simply won't go away. For the most part, Quebec has very little in common with the rest of Canada. In fact, Quebec still holds on to its French language and heritage. While referendums for Quebec's independence were voted down in 1980 and 1995, it's clear that the desire for independence in Quebec is still strong to this day. In fact, the 1995 referendum granted Quebec a great deal of autonomy over its internal affairs, over issues such as immigration, healthcare, language policies, and education. But while independence for Quebec has remained elusive in recent years, the imminent independence of Catalonia and Scotland has only reignited this smoldering debate in Canada. The numbers of those in support of independence for Quebec have gone up from just under 40% in the 1980 referendum to 49.43% in 1995. These poll results make it clear that the movement for Quebec's independence is only gaining momentum. The future may still hold an independent Quebec. In the past, the relatively unknown island of Bougainville has declared its independence from Papua New Guinea not once but twice in both 1975 and in 1990. However, both attempts were violently suppressed by the forces of Papua New Guinea, which is the country that legally controls the island of Bougainville. After a peace agreement was signed in 2000, it was declared that Bougainville is expected to hold some sort of independence referendum between 2015 and 2020. This bilateral deal also gave Bougainville increased autonomy from Papua New Guinea. While in the past the struggle for the independence of Bougainville was quite violent and met with little success, it is very likely a referendum will create the peaceful path towards independence that many in Bougainville have been waiting for. Also known as Venice, this region of Italy that is home to over 5 million people has in recent years taken steps towards independence. A referendum on the issue of Venetian independence from Italy was supposed to occur sometime between 2013 and 2014, but according to the referendum's proponents, the effort was unexpectedly dropped. About 56% of Venetians are in support of independence from Italy, according to a January 2013 poll. As Italy's economic condition worsens, desire for Venetian independence will only grow stronger. Until the Venetians' grievances with Italy are addressed, the looming threat of Venice breaking away from Italy will remain a very real possibility. After the Somalian Civil War of 1991, Somalia's central government collapsed, and various factions and warlords all fought for power in the ashes. Somaliland, however, defies this image. Located in between Ethiopia and the Gulf of Aden, Somaliland takes the expected secessionist paradigm and flips it on its head. This is because Somaliland is relatively stable and a moderate democracy that is looking for independence from a country synonymous with failed governance and anarchy. Since Somaliland declared its independence in 1991, no other countries have recognized this nation of 3.5 million people. But this may yet change. The situation inside of Somalia has been slowly improving in recent years, meaning a formal diplomatic solution to the Somalian Civil War could be just around the corner. It's likely when Somalia finally picks itself up from the dirt, the Republic of Somaliland will be in an excellent position to secure its independence. Unlike the other nations on this list, the British territory of Anguilla is likely to become an independent nation with a whisper rather than a roar. In fact, when Anguilla finally does become independent, it's likely that most people won't even notice its creation, as most people can't even find Anguilla on a map. Regardless, Anguillan independence is becoming a very real possibility. The former Prime Minister of Anguilla, along with many other government officials, have openly voiced their support of total independence from the United Kingdom. Anguilla has also recently gained the right of self-governance. The current administration of Anguilla has also stated that they are tentatively in favor of independence, but observers still note that we don't know what the future will hold for Anguilla. When Anguillan independence is finally achieved, it will likely come without much warning. Kurdistan is a region of the Middle East that is home to the Kurdish people, which is one of the largest ethnic groups in the world that does not have their own country. Throughout their history, the Kurds have been repressed by the various states and empires that have carved up the Middle East. Today, however, it is likely that the conclusion of the Syrian civil war will see the creation of an independent Kurdistan. This has become apparent due to the fact that Kurdish fighters and militias have already achieved de facto control over large portions of Iraq and Syria. It would take very little for these regions to band together and unilaterally declare their independence. What remains to be seen is whether or not the Kurds can also retake their ancestral lands inside of Iran and Turkey, as these areas are key components of any future Kurdish nation. In 2014, an independence referendum for the Kurds in Iraq and Syria was planned, but the rise of the Islamic State put these plans on hold. It is likely that after the conclusion of the Syrian civil war, this referendum will officially declare the creation of a Kurdish state. It is also likely that the remnants of the shattered Syrian and Iraqi governments will be too weak to seriously oppose the creation of Kurdistan. For more top lists just like this, be sure to leave a like and subscribe if you haven't already, and hit that bell icon on mobile, or if you're on desktop, hit that gear icon and click send me all notifications. It really helps us out. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you all next time.